What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Road to Optimal Self. I am Jay. I am here with Collin and Megan Yurista. Collin's going to say yes very loud in the microphone. Here we go, Collin.
Yep.
Meg?
Yes.
It's most likely going to be Meg talking the majority of the time today. But if you're watching the video, you'll see Collin just shake his head yes over and over again. But wanted to mostly talk to you guys. You guys are newer members here at the gym, and just want to kind of go over, you have seen kind of the gym at its, I don't want to call it the lowest point, but coming out of the pandemic, we had obviously it was a real challenging time, and then we've kind of built it back up, and then we had the competition, which is the real thing we're probably going to mostly talk about. And I want to kind of get your guys' feeling from a member perspective. How did it feel when you first started versus, once you hit competition level? Did you feel any different, like when you first walked in? Because I remember distinctly having a conversation with you when you first walk in, and I made a smart ass comment, something like, no tattoos in my gym or something like that. But that was the first time we interfaced, and then we didn't interface for
a while.
I think the shutdown happened. But did you feel comfortable right away? Did it take a while? Like, what was it like walking into the gym? And it's gonna be a different answer for Collin, because we're kind of a female-only gym for the most part, so it's very weird being a guy in this gym. But I'm gonna start with you. So, were you comfortable right off the bat, or?
Oh yeah, I was comfortable. I started at the 10 a.m.s, which was literally like 5 or 6 girls, and everybody was really laid back, and I was horribly out of shape. So luckily, like Angie and everybody, like just took me under their wing and were like, okay, this is what you do. If you feel like you're dying, just slow down. That's what kept me coming back, because I was scared shitless to work out again, because I didn't know what I was doing. So
now, were you an athlete prior to working out, or?
If you count cheerleading.
Oh fuck that! I mean,
yeah.
If you've watched some cheerleading, those are some athletic people. But so, how long had you been out of exercise before you?
Realistically, I would work out, but it would be like, oh, I'm going to walk 10 minutes on the treadmill or 10 minutes on the elliptical and then stretch out and act like I did something. In between that and my eating habits, I was disgustingly out of shape. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Like my first workout here, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. That, we get that quite a bit. And that's, I don't say that to be like a smart ass. Like, there are a lot of people that come in and feel that they're in shape, and they haven't experienced kind of like how Collin's first workout went, which I think I told you after his first workout, we were never going to fucking see Collin again. I thought you were done, dude. Who I don't even remember who your partner was. Was it Kyle? Mm-hmm. I just remember you were doing power cleans, and you literally would put the bar down, and you would almost lay down in between sets, and I'm like, this motherfucker's going to die. He's in trouble. And I don't even think you said, now that I know him, I know he's just a quiet guy, but when you first left, I'm like, we're never seeing that dude again. You just kind of did the whole arm, oh, bye, see ya.
I think he walked out before me, and you guys are like, we probably won't see him. And I was like, you're probably right.
Yeah. But he came back, and he's become a pretty fit motherfucker. So what started because you guys kind of were the ones I don't know if it was actually you guys. I think it was a combination of you and Carrie Pemberton that kind of drove the getting back into competition, because I had kind of been, I like to call myself retired, but I keep being told I'm not retired. But I just remember saying I would do the Lima competition if nobody else would. But who started the Lima competition? Who found that one? Was it you? Was it Carrie?
The Tiffin one?
No, the Lima one, the Little City one.
Yeah, Little City.
I remember him and Carrie the same day, sent it to me.
I don't know, I just feel like I'm so competitive that if I'm doing something, I want to see where I'm at compared to other people.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm a super competitive person. I just was not very. I had a lot of stomach issues going on back then. But so is that what got you back to what made you come back after that first? First of all, let me ask you this: was it as bad of an experience as we felt it was? Because you looked rough. Did you actually leave going, fuck those guys, I'm never coming back?
No, I plan on coming back.
Yeah.
But that first one I was so out of shape. I think we went to go make a TikTok and I saw how fat I was. I got to start doing something.
There's always that awakening. I still, what's funny is I just shared my 75 hard results. Everybody looks at their right picture and they're like, oh, great results. I look at the left and I'm like, you fat piece of shit. Like, what is right? You know, like, we tend to be harder on ourselves. But it's just, I was just curious because there's a lot of times, one of two things happen when you have a really bad workout like that. It either motivates you and you're like, yes, that will not happen again, or it completely breaks your spirit. And you were a lot tougher than we gave you credit for that first time because you came back almost instantly.
Yeah.
It was what, a couple days? I think you came back?
I think a week later.
Yeah. And then we found out, all right, y'all, if anybody knows how to get a hold of Matt Frazier, like, this dude has a hard-on for Matt Frazier. Like, sorry, Meg, he'd probably leave you for Matt Frazier.
He would, 100%.
But he went from, like, we're never going to see him again to hard work pays off fucking everything. Nike Metcons, fucking Rogue shirts, all that shit. I never realized how into the CrossFit side of things you were.
Me neither until I came here.
Yeah, and you definitely could tell you were looking at competitions because he'd be like, we should try, and he would name something that I hadn't programmed in like 4 months, and I'm like, oh, he wants to go that direction. Now, are you equally as competitive, or did he kind of drag you into the competitive scene? Because I've seen you be pretty competitive as well, but does that come naturally, or is it just being around him or other competitive people really brings it out of you?
Oh no, I'm competitive. Anything that we do, I try to beat him at. Like, I'm a very competitive person, but I also like the fun of it too.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
But no, I'm competitive. I'm really competitive.
I'll fucking cheat to win tic-tac-toe with my kids. I'm not even gonna lie. Trenton, if you're watching this, I cheated last time I beat you. I don't give a fuck. I don't like to lose. Like, some people are like, oh, let them win. No, bury them. Fuck that. I don't want to let anybody win.
We went kayaking with Lexi and Carrie, and we raced back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
After 2.5 hours, we raced back, and we were.
Oh, I couldn't feel my arms, but I couldn't let him win. I literally could not feel my arms anymore. They were tingling.
Yeah. That's but that also elevates the entire group. You know what I mean? If you have 4 of you, and one person gets the idea, oh, I'm going to push it a little bit because I got to win, and then it just turns into all 4 of you will push that much harder, and you make it a lot further in the game that way. But so we're preparing for Little City. Is it called Little City Fitness? What the fuck was that thing
Little
called?
City Fitness or
Little City Mayhem.
Little City Mayhem was the name of the competition, and I finally committed. What, 4 weeks out? 5 weeks out?
About a month out, yeah.
Yeah. So I really was not as aware of the workouts, but I feel like you guys, I gave you enough that did you feel prepared for it? I know I wasn't prepared for it, but did you guys feel like you had the right preparation for your first
Turned out
comp?
better than I anticipated.
Yeah. Because we really didn't know the workouts when I first started helping you, because I'm like, I guarantee there's thrusters, and there was. I think I told you to work the assault bike.
yes.
We knew Dylan was getting screwed.
We knew, yeah, that was the only thing we talked about. We're sort of like, Dylan, you're fucked. And Dylan's such a nice guy. And I'll remember, I'm going to bounce around a little bit on this, but I remember Emily and Dylan's faces when they realized they were the only ones who had to run in the third workout, and they had to do more reps than us. They were like, what the hell? And me and them were like, you picked it. Which he didn't pick it. We put him there because I'm like, I'm not running. I'm not doing overhead squats.
Emily didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
I think I lucked out that I think you could have done the snatches.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have been pretty.
Yeah.
But I think you could have physically done them.
Yeah.
I don't think Dylan was physically able to do the clean and jerks or the snatches at that point.
Because we were only here for a couple months before. When was that competition?
It was in April.
We used hardcore
4
started
months
January.
in.
Yeah, January.
Yeah. So you do your first that's pretty unusual to do a competition that quickly, and we ended up podium. I mean.
Yeah.
You mean Collin podium?
Some of us weren't there for the podium, but Collin podium. He fucking carried that team, literally. He was the only one on the podium. And didn't he try to not get on the podium? Like, I don't.
I
You're
tried
gonna.
picking other people up with me.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
is
was
that
like,
what it
no.
was? Yeah. But so you, 4 months in, you do your first competition. Were there any butterflies? I'll start with you. Were there any butterflies before the first event?
Oh God, yes. Major anxiety. So excited, but major anxiety. Yeah. I was just freaking out because I was like, don't quit and don't puke. That was like my main concern.
That's not. I think that's. How do I want to word this? That's the part a lot of people struggle with. Is there's a difference between nervous energy, which is positive for you, and flat out anxiety, which is negative for you. What you're describing, in my opinion, and I'm not saying it's not like anxious, so it is technically anxiety, but that I don't want to puke and I don't want to quit, in my opinion, is a positive going into a competition. That means I'm prepared to actually push it in this workout versus the other end of the spectrum, which I was on, which was I don't want to fucking be here. I'm shitting my brains out. I'm puking. Like, I literally didn't feel good. I was like, this isn't going to go well.
Yeah, no, I was pumped. Like I was.
Yeah.
It was a good anxiety.
Yeah. I just remember event one. After we talked about this Sunday, I think I remembered. I did coach a lot more than I remembered. Because I
Okay.
remember going up to Carrie and I think you while you were on the bike and talking you guys through some stuff. I remember you guys crushed that first event.
That was great.
It was really fun. I remember Mr. fucking assault bike over here crushed the first assault bike. It was, he just went ham right off the rip. What did you do that 15 calorie assault bike? So the first workout for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it was teams of 3. The first one did 21 calorie assault bike, 21 light thrusters, 21 knee raises. The second one did a heavier thruster, 15 assault bike calories, 15 thrusters, 15 total bar.
Yep.
And then the last person went 9 heavy ass thrusters and then 9 pull-ups. And that was a heavy fucking thruster for the last person. Is that the one you did?
That's what I did. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was fucking heavy. I don't know if it still feel heavy today, but at that day it was fucking heavy. But I'm pretty sure you did 15 calories faster than I did my 9.
Well, you told me not to go out hard.
And then he
Seen
sprinted
that.
it.
Yeah.
And then he flat out. I said, Collin, you can't win it on the bike, but you can lose it. And he heard full send. And I looked down at one point. I'm 90% certain you hit over 100 RPM.
I don't think you guys were done loading by the time I got off.
Yeah, and I was like, son of a bitch, this is not good. And then I watched him on the total bar, and it fell the fuck apart. And I was like, that's what I was talking about, Collin. And he's like, it was my grip. I'm like, yeah, it was your grip, bro. It was your grip.
Your face was like dead.
White.
Yeah, it was gone.
I learned how to pace myself now.
But it was super fucking hot in there. That's the part where you really can't describe how hot it was in there. But we pretty much, as much as I'm giving you shit about the first one, the second and third workout you paced about as perfectly as you could,
We
in
all
my
worked
opinion.
Together.
What's that?
We all worked together.
We did.
You told me when to break.
Yeah, it was a lot easier. On the second workout, that was another cool coaching moment. Is the second workout was all 3 of our teams.
That was sweet.
And then one other team, so that was pretty cool because anybody that knows me knows if I'm having issues, like that was the best thing that could happen to me because then we're talking shit to each other or messing around. I think I was threatening to throw your guys' wall ball and shit like that, and it just became a fun joke around event. I did get pissed at the judge on that because they were no repping our last team, and I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, you were across the gym, they're the last ones going, shut the fuck up.
And they were the only team up at that point, and
Yeah.
they didn't do it to anybody else.
Yeah,
so.
it was just, and you get that sometimes. And then the coolest moment of the competition for the guys' side, we're getting ready for the last workout, which Dylan had to run. It was 3 rounds of 400-meter run, 15 overhead squats. Then Collin did 30 clean and jerks, and then I did 30 snatches. And we're walking over there, and Dylan goes, I'm going to be the first one back in this building. And we started talking mad shit. Mind you, I'm skipping a whole important part of mad shit talk that we did. What did we offer him?
We got up to $500, but one part would you'd have to bear crawl.
Yes, we offered him $500 to bear crawl the 400 meter, and he wouldn't do it. I'd still be bear crawling. You motherfuckers would have paid me the money. I wouldn't have cared.
That'd been great. Could you imagine? That'd been hilarious.
But to his credit, he told us he was going to be the first one back in there, and he was the first one back in there. And I think that set the tone for me and you after that. That was the first one I actually felt pretty good for. And me and you were kind of fucking around and having a good time. So by the time, I just remember, I'm like, Collin, good job pacing the second workout. I don't know if you remember this. We're like sitting there chalking. Our judge is yelling at us to get behind this line. And I'm just being a dick going on the other side of the line, just being a pain in the ass. And I look at Collin, and he's chalking his hands up. I go, hey, remember how I said you did really good pace in the second one? And he's like, yeah. I go, send it. I said, yeah. I go, bet you can't do this in broken. Full send, motherfucker. And he's like, really? And I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm going, this is a horrible idea. But I'm like, fuck yeah. And what did you come out with?
I got to 11 or 15.
Yeah, it was. That. And then I think you have a TikTok of you falling the fuck apart on that, don't you? It was like, he was hauling ass. And then it was like, arms don't want to work anymore. But I think that workout was why we ended up making the podium, because they scored it 3 separate events. And I think you finished second or third?
I don't know which one I did on that.
I think all of us finished in the top 3 in that one, and that's what crossed out the first workout.
Well, she did her 30 in a minute 30.
Yeah, no, that was I was going to say. The women's best event was that third one too, because you did the clean and jerks and you crushed it, because we thought we had the wrong time cap.
I didn't think I had a choice.
We had the wrong time cap. And then Carrie had never done a snatch at, was it 95?
75.
75, and Carrie ended up doing all 30 of her snatches, which was awesome.
And they looked great.
Yeah. So we got done with that. That's actually what made me go to the doctor. But then, who brought up the Tiffin one?
I sent it out a while back. Then people think Carrie and Lex joined it, and fuck it. I told her, I was like, hey, you want to do a competition? She's like, yeah. I signed up without telling her it involved running.
Yeah.
Oh, you told her. Wait, which one? Oh, the Tiffin one involved running. I totally forgot about running.
Run.
You can't say that anymore.
I can't, but...
Me and Morgan talked about this, so I'm not going to get too into it, because this is going to air not too long after Morgan's. I just remember giving a whole epic speech about being retired. And don't fucking ask me to do this competition. Not realizing once my stomach got right how much better I would feel. And I remember Morgan being one of the few people that could convince me to do it. Text me like the day I made that talk, and I was like, son of a bitch, I'm gonna end up doing this. And then she called me a bitch.
Wasn't it on social media?
In a group. I was in our group message, and that solidified it. But I do feel bad to Collin and Dylan, because I was in a much better mental and physical spot, more importantly physically, so I was able to train a little bit more for this past Tiffin one. So I feel like I redeemed myself to a lot of you guys that saw the bullshit I did in Lima, and then what I did a couple weeks ago in Tiffin. Those were 2 totally different people.
But you still showed up.
I mean, the one thing I will never do, almost to a fault, and Lima was a perfect example. I literally was puking in between events, and it wasn't from anxiety. It wasn't like my stomach was fucked up, and I didn't eat like for 12 hours before that, and I couldn't even eat afterwards. So I was not prepared to do what we did in Lima, but it didn't really fucking matter. But I missed one of the coolest parts of the Lima thing is because you guys find that shit. We want a barbell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, we ended up having our gym
Most teams.
ended up sending the most
Did
teams.
we have like 5? I think we had at least 5.
I think we officially had 6, because Aiden's
Yeah, so
team
that was 6.
technically, because it was supposed to be Aiden, Kyle, and somebody else, and when Kyle dropped out, it ended up being a CrossFit Tiffin mostly member team, but they had signed up under JG3, so we got credit for them. But yeah, so that's what's cool about our gym is when one person says they're in on something, everybody's in on it, and you can kind of tell that because I'm wearing a JG3 shirt, Meg's wearing a JG3 shirt, he's got his first worm shit on. When we're in on something, we're 100% in on it, and that's very cool. But was the training different when we were going from your perspective? I know what I was planning on doing when you were training for the Tiffin comp versus the Lima comp. Did you notice any differences in preparedness? Did you notice you had 5 extra months in your belt, so now you're almost, for you especially, you're 8 full months of training in instead of 4, so you got double the time. But more importantly, did you feel more prepared to go into that? I feel like I gave you a lot more chances to be ready strategy-wise, skill-wise. There weren't very many surprises going into Tiffin. Other than the whole fucking AC lie.
Yeah,
Like,
that was hot.
And I'm not fucking with you, CrossFit Tiffin. If you're listening to this, you do have AC. Just that many people in that building kind of killed the purpose of AC. And there's nothing they could have done about that, but it was hot as fuck in there. But anyway, we'll go through my favorite part of the competitions. Collin got fucked on the bike. Collin got fucked on the run. The first 3 workouts, Collin kind of got screwed into having go full send for at least 45 seconds at the end of each workout. So was that, I know when me and you talked, the plan was for you to be on the bike last. So I didn't really blink when you were on the bike the last minute, because that was kind of you at least had told, I don't know what he communicated to you, but he had told me he's going to try and at least finish on the bike at least the last 45 seconds.
I didn't realize I was going to be on there for a minute 20. But then I looked over and I just told her to stay and said, doing 2 transitions and wasting time. I said, fuck it.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Yeah. So you did a whole minute 20 full send on the bike?
We got a different strategy for next time.
Oh, well, yeah. You know it's not going to be the same workout, right?
Well,
Don't matter.
Whatever.
But anyway, Collin runs like he has a dick in his ass.
Yes.
Like, it is. Who taught you how to run?
Hey, it worked.
It did work, but were you being chased by a rapist or what? Like,
You were standing behind
I
me.
was standing behind you. That's a good point. But anyway, Collin then gets, you had about, what, 10 seconds on the bike? And I didn't realize, or on the run.
9 seconds.
9 seconds. And they counted the rollover calories, which I wasn't aware of that, because I found out about that because I was talking shit to him. I'm like, you could only get 4 calories. And the judge looks at me and goes, you get to count the rollover. And I'm like, oh shit. And he ended up getting 9 calories in 9 seconds. So if you ever run on an assault runner, this motherfucker was going. He was moving.
I didn't think you were going to stop. Like, you were just trucking.
How did you stop? I don't even remember that. I was
I don't either.
You just jump off. Yeah, that's nuts. And then the moment of, in my opinion, and I have a little different perspective. You could argue Morgan's moment was equally as loud, but being on the floor with her, it didn't feel as loud as being behind everybody. But when I was coaching, Collin got to a point where you had a choice on the 3rd workout. The skier really didn't count towards your...
It was a buy-in.
It was a buy-in, so you really didn't get points for doing this. So you had to do essentially a 10-calorie ski erg and then 3 squats. So his judge got blamed for my loud mouth. It was great. But you got a point where it was going to be very close on whether it was even worth trying or not. And our judge was starting to enjoy our JG3 team getting really loud. And he started saying, come on, JG3, get loud. And Meg was going to finish her squats with it looked like about 50 seconds to go. I don't know if you stumbled on one or what, but it ended up only being like 46 seconds you had. And the judge is like looking at him and he's like, what do you want to do? And I said, fuck it, send it. And what did you hear? Because you...
Send it.
Yeah. And because the judge afterwards, his eyes get all big when he's going. He's like, let's go. And we're all screaming and yelling. And literally that entire place, people are just staring at your guys' lane, and it was cool as hell. He lets go of the skier and fucking blasts himself in the nose. He hits his 3 squats, and he had, what, 2 seconds to spare?
Yeah.
And he falls on the ground. We're all having a great time. It's awesome. And then I realize, they got a whole nother workout to do. And he is fucked at this point.
We got second in that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that's because you told us to drop weight and do more reps. Because we were going to go heavier.
I did. I in my opinion, I thought if you went, and it had to have worked because we ended up finishing like 4th in that one, and we didn't lift heavy at all. I mean, the girl that won was lifting heavier than I was.
Holy crap.
Hindsight's a bitch, though. I feel like I should have went 185, but it's easy to say that now. But I felt like if you did quicker rounds and did more weight or less weight, you would get deeper into it. And I think that's what happened with a lot of people. Is I watched a lot of people fail the clean over and over, and I'm like,
We only had to do 10 rounds of that.
yeah,
I think we, compared to the other people, I think we're the only 2 teams that finished all 10 rounds.
yeah. It was pretty crazy to think about the difference in strategy. But this was a moment where it kind of transitions into being about Meg's moment. Is what was going through your mind at this point? Because all I remember is looking over and seeing this horrid look on your face, and I'm like, uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Trying to keep up with Collin, the whole workout was intense just because he doesn't get tired. And he goes balls to the wall, full send, every workout.
Hold on a second. He gets tired, he just ignores the pain pretty
Yeah.
well. And I think it's different when he's doing a team workout versus an individual workout. When you have a set rest period, it's easier to go full send because you're like, okay,
I know I get a break.
even if I know I'm dead, it takes Meg 52 seconds to do this round. So I'm getting 52 seconds after this.
Whereas I get 10 seconds.
Yes, where you were getting roughly 38 seconds rest or 42 seconds rest. So it's hard to wrap your head around that when your heart rate's 185 and you're struggling with everything. But you had just this look on your face like you didn't realize it takes 2 to get the scores you guys were getting, and you guys still had done fucking awesome on event 1. You'd done pretty good on event 2, all things, because for not being a runner, you had done pretty good on event 2. Then you crushed event 3. So I look over and your face is just like, I don't know. I don't want to say you were going to cry, but it was like a mix of horror, like about to lose it, like really down on yourself. And I don't even remember what I told you. I gave you a little pep talk, but to come back from that moment and then, I mean, I'm going to pick on Collin right now. Collin was rowing after all the good things I just said about him.
Kicked ass for 3.
3 workouts. I've never seen a man row so fucking slow.
I told her before, I don't give a fuck about this workout.
He literally said that he goes, I don't even care.
Yeah, but think about this, though. And this is going to be a mean way to put it because you did crush the first 3 workouts. But had you pulled at even 800 calorie an hour, you guys probably end up on the podium.
He said that the next day. He's like,
Yeah.
I would have just done more pull-ups or
Yeah.
pulled a little bit harder. I'm
And
but
it's so easy to say that hindsight because I saw how fucking wrecked he was. There was no recovering from what he did on the. It was a catch-22. You got your moment. You got what was, in my opinion, the loudest moment of the competition. And I was there all day. That was the loudest that place ever got.
He didn't leave early.
I did not leave early. I did not. But so you get this moment that was very cool, but your body takes such a toll that you're not going to recover in 5 minutes for that, and it's going to be real hard to. And that's what happened. But that's where you flipping the switch, and you were pulling on the rower at like 1,400 calorie an hour. You just and what clicked in your head that made you able to make that switch? Because you went from being like what looked like on the verge is just saying, fuck it, I'm leaving. I don't even want to do this anymore.
that's what I was literally thinking. I was just upset because I felt like my body and like myself wasn't competing where I could be. Like I felt like I could have done more, but my body just was not allowing me to. So I was getting pissed off because I'm like, I want to do more. I want to, just because like it was our first comp together, I wanted to do better. Mm-hmm. And honestly, if you wouldn't have talked to me before that final workout, I don't think I could have. I was just in my head. Mentally, I was just in my head.
We all get there. And I think what happens and what's interesting when you debrief with people after the competition is how much you judge yourself so much harsher than you do. I mean, I look at some of those events and I'm like, the only one I would give myself credit for was the fucking rope climb one. I mean, I literally don't think I could have done better on that one.
No, you were up and down like every 2 seconds.
That one was awesome. I felt like I sandbagged the fuck out of the run, and then things I don't even realize I'm doing, you point out to me, Morgan points out to me, I start picking up the pace at one point. I zone out. When people start talking shit to me, I zone out, and I start going faster there. The skier one, I had no idea how fast of a pace I was holding. I thought I was going very smooth. Morgan was telling me I was clicking off like 45, 50-second rounds.
Yeah, I was going fast.
Time and time again, and it didn't feel that fast to me. By the time we got to the bar muscle up one, I'm like, my hands hurt so fucking bad. I was like, I look like a fucking boxer.
Can
my
we
hands
know
are.
that was a little bit of karma?
Picking
on Morgan.
We talked about this on the way. Yeah, I got everything I deserved on that one. But it was interesting because when I talked to Morgan after this, I don't even think we talked about this on the podcast, but we talked afterwards, and she's like, I felt like I was just sinking trying to keep up with you. And in my mind, I'm going, I was literally just keeping your pace. I was trying to hold on. So we're both thinking, oh my God, she's crushing it. I'm holding on. She's thinking I'm crushing it. I'm just holding on. And I think that's where you were at, is you in reality were doing just as good. You were setting him up. Because by the time you got that 10 seconds left, you were starting the 9th round on that, which was pretty deep into that workout. So you had held your own. He just got the glory because he did the last full send for 9 seconds.
Yeah.
Not taking anything away from that, but it took both of you guys to get to that point. He crushed the last skier, but it took you hitting all your squats, and you went heavy as fuck for that. Like, I think you lifted what Morgan did, didn't you?
I did 105, yeah.
So you were crushing it in your own way. It's just you weren't getting those moments. Each workout, Collin was getting this huge reaction, this huge last 10 seconds. And that's why it was so cool to see you step up, because then you got the reaction on the last workout. And it was just a cool moment because you don't often see someone go from that low of a point to crushing it. And those are my kind of people. Like, if I can coach anybody in one way, and it's our tagline, I can't doesn't exist. The minute you think you can't do something, you should fucking quit. Mm-hmm. That is truly my opinion, is if you're feeling sorry for yourself, you're looking at the ground, you should quit. Because you got two options. You can either quit or you can fucking dig deep and do what you did. And it's funny you're wearing the shirt. That's what a bad motherfucker does, like, it's real easy to just take the foot off the gas and go, I gave it my all, and go through the motions. But ultimately, in your own mind, and I tell people this all the time, that motherfucker in the mirror before you go to bed is the truest thing you will ever see. And had you not come back and did what you did, you would have looked in the mirror and said, I gave up today.
Mm-hmm. I would have been pissed.
And you'd have been upset. But instead, you got to look in the mirror and go, I wanted to quit, and my best workout was the last one. When Collin needed me the most, I was upset because Collin was doing so well for 3 workouts. When he needed me, I stepped the fuck up. And that's what being a team is. That's what's awesome about team workouts. I fucking hate individual. Like, I hate it. I've never done an individual competition in terms of CrossFit anyway. I just refuse to. Ironman, shit like that, yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to do a team that way. But that is one of the coolest things. And then the other thing that gives me goosebumps just thinking about it is the ovation that our team gives each other is like, supposedly, and I cannot say this for a fact, I don't know that this happens or does not happen, but supposedly the group after us, that was that girl's first muscle ups. Now, I find that hard to believe. She hit like 15 of them. Yeah. They didn't look like it. It was probably her first muscle ups in a competition.
Yeah.
Or in a workout or something like that. But if that was her first muscle up, that's the loudest they got.
Right.
Like, that just, Morgan missed 10 muscle ups and it sounded like fucking, my ears were hurting how loud it was in there. So that's what makes people like me and Debbie proud, is that camaraderie that says, hey, we're on a team together. The people screaming and yelling for Selena, Ashley, Carrie, Lex, like, when you take the floor, and I think that adds to that anxious energy we were talking about earlier, that anxiety to a certain extent. And not everybody handles that well. I've seen people go up and just fall flat on their face because they don't like that spotlight. Excuse me. But to some, it just lights, and I think both of you guys are examples of that. when the spotlight came on, both of you guys just dug deep and went, all right, here it is. This is who I am in this moment. It might be hitting 10 calories in fucking 9 seconds on the salt runner. It might be pulling 1,500 on the row. But you had a moment where you could have easily just went through the motions, and you probably would have got cheered for either way. But everybody knew. We're all such a smart, cerebral group. Everybody knew what you were doing. We're like, oh, fuck, look at this. Like, we're not a bunch of just watch from the sidelines. Everybody that was there knew exactly. They're looking at the meter, because I preached that. How many times did I talk to you guys about calories per hour on your machine and what you can hold? So everybody knew the pace you were holding was pretty fucking strong.
And that's what got us through. I can honestly say without, like, you guys there and telling us, like, to cheer us on, we would have made it through, but I don't think we would have gone as hard just because we had that support. Like,
I think you would have called it before the last round.
I planned on it then.
Yeah. What I love about Collin is he's so easily manipulated. It's like, Collin,
Yeah, you want to go do dumb shit Sunday? Okay, sure.
Yeah. I mean, literally, you just got to go, hey, Collin, you want to? And he's like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'm like, no, it's a horrible idea. Hey, Collin, you want to put this weight vest on while you're hungover and do Murph? Yeah.
Right.
Sounds like a great idea. Hey, Collin, you want to get your ass kicked at Spikeball? Yeah, he does.
Still Spikeball champions.
No.
Wins 2 games. That's it.
No.
Get cocky.
Let's call Carrie because I know she won't lie.
That's just not fair. That's just not fair. Let's face it. But they have beat us more than we beat them. But
That's on camera.
the couple times we beat them
2.
are pretty epic. Both times we beat you have been pretty big wins.
We felt bad.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just kidding.
Actually, what it
You guys
is
did swamp us
we
that one
normally
game.
just start picking on Collin.
Who do you want to be on your team? See, I'm the underdog here.
Me and Collin are going to try and find a pickup Spikeball game just to find out how bad we actually are at this. Because I'm sure in our minds we're like the fucking strong players that understand the game. And we probably suck really bad. But that was cool. This past weekend, I finished 75 hard. It was supposed to be just a hangout potluck for a couple hours. How long did we play Spikeball? We had to play Spikeball for 4 or 5 hours.
At least 4 or 5.
It was fun.
I want to say we started at probably 4 o'clock and didn't end till 9, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Turned into a mini tournament.
Yeah.
It did. It was the crazy thing is I told you guys this off camera. It was we all went in spurts. You guys dominated at first and you beat everybody. And then we came in and beat you and we beat everybody. And then Selena and Morgan beat everybody. Mm-hmm. And then Steven and Taylor beats everybody. And it's
we're all too competitive.
It was, yeah. And I mean, it got to the point we were diving around. We were being...
I had a bruise on my knee.
Did you?
Literally on my knee, I still have a bruise.
That's what's awesome about finding like-minded people is even our fucking potlucks turn into competitions. But so you finished the competition. You did take a week off. I mean, you didn't. Slacker boy over here took a full week off.
He paid for it.
He did.
I'm paying for it today.
He's still paying for it. And his first workout back was Murph. So that was a horrible idea, too. Is the bug still there to compete? Does it get stronger each competition, or?
100%. I know I want to work on technique more. But I definitely want to compete again.
Selena today got 6 toe to bar unbroken.
No way.
And
That's
she did
awesome.
The workout that's on the board. I haven't raced it yet. The workout on the board behind me, she was able to do. Her and Morgan were doing 4s the whole time.
That's amazing.
It just, you find something. But I think that's the part people miss in competition is if you do too many competitions, you get stuck competing and you never get stuck getting better. You should have a list on every competition. When you finish, you're like, I know what fucked me up, and I know what I did good on. And I'm not saying ignore what you did good on, but those things that you did bad or you struggled a little bit with, those should be your focuses. The cool thing this competition was we had people in each division, so you got to see Lex and Carrie podium in that division. You guys were very close to podium. Celine and Ashley were right on the brink of competing, but they didn't finish as strong as they probably could have. And then you had Carrie, Courtney and Trina, and then you go to RX and you now see like Morgan, who's, you and Morgan are a lot alike. You guys are both really strong. You figured out pull-ups really quick, but it's probably going to be a minute before you get to that next step. But seeing that close, you're like, okay, it gives you something to shoot for.
Give me that
right?
itch. I'm like, I want to try that one day.
Right. That's the first thing Selena said to me earlier. We're working on. I always stick my foot in my mouth, by the way. I'm realizing this now. I was joking about being retired again, and I'm like, there's very few people that could ask me to do a competition. I know Debbie's not going to do it. I'm like, now if Carrie asked me to do a competition, I mean, I'd probably be forced to say yes. And Carrie's like, I want to do a competition, Jay. And I'm like, fuck. And then Selena's like, hey, Jay, once I get a bar muscle up, can I do a competition with you? And I'm like, this is not going to turn into a thing where once you can RX it, I'm your fucking partner, because I'm retired.
Maybe we should make that a thing.
But it's funny how the littlest thing can motivate you to do so. I've already told you this off camera, so this isn't some revelation, but I do owe Collin a competition now that I'm not feeling like shit all the time. So I told him to find one, and we would knock that one out. But I do feel I owe him that.
That's gonna suck.
But be careful what you fucking wish for, because you don't want to see a healthy Jay trying to kick your ass. I'll make sure the fucking competition hurts. It'll have ring muscle ups, it'll have everything.
You said I gotta find it.
Oh, you gotta
Dude,
find
you
it.
can feel like I did when I worked out with you.
Wait,
You get 10 seconds to rest.
he's gonna get 10 seconds too?
Yeah. I actually think we would probably hurt each other, because that would, at some point, one of us is going to fall off, and it's going to get ugly after that.
You guys can hang out. Me and Debbie will hang out then for a week, so we don't have to listen to it.
Anyway, Debbie's looking for camping trips. I don't know if she reached out to you or
Yeah,
not.
we were actually looking.
That might actually be when we launch the first ever Spikeball JG3 championship.
Yes, that should happen. That needs
So
to
are
happen.
we sticking to the new team or
I
existing team?
I haven't decided yet,
Wow.
because that's what Carrie asked me. She's like, are you ditching me? I'm like, I feel like I can't at this point. Like, you're finally figuring the shit out. I'd be a dick to
Right.
ditch you.
What are you talking about? You were the wink link for how long?
Oh.
And I didn't ditch you.
Ooh.
If I was a weak link, you would ask, or he wanted you, he would pick you.
Oh.
Well, he would have felt bad to leave you on a team with Carrie because you would have sucked.
Who said I was gonna pick her to be my partner? I got Steven.
That's a competitive motherfucker right there.
That would have been fun. That would probably
that's
make
a
a team.
competitive motherfucker.
They step up like, oh, we haven't played in so long.
Yeah.
And they're bopping it back and forth.
They were
running
talking
and diving.
strategy in the side. Like, they're like, we're hitting it this many times every time. And I'm going in the back of my mind, I'm like, no, you're not, because you're trying to get me to think you're going to hit it 3 times, and then you're going to fucking spike it. But yeah, Spikeball, that's just one of those. And I mean, we're going to be able to play even in the winter, because we can set it up right.
Oh, that'd be blast.
That'll
be fun.
That's a fun game right there. I really do like Spikeball. But anyway, what's crazy is where I was getting at with we're looking at camping trips is how we didn't know each other January.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely didn't know you before then. I think I met you very briefly before the shutdown, but you came back how many months before he did?
I think I did it in like August, end of September, August, but I only came like once a month.
Yeah, you were not very consistent. But it's like he starts coming, and then it's instantly we all start vibing and connect, and then we start talking about camping together. We do potlucks together. It really becomes, a lot of people use #FitFam, but Katie Brinley came back for the first time in close to, I think, 8 months or so, came back to my 75 hard finale, and she's like, oh my God, Megan's so nice. It was just like being at the old gym. She came right up to me and she introduced herself, and then she's like, that little Mexican girl. I'm like, that's kind of racist. But yeah, Selena. And she's like, yeah, she smiles at everything, and she was so happy. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool how quick you get support in the most weird places. You know what I mean? Like, you don't ever expect to come into a gym and find people that have your back no matter what. And I think you find that when you come here, as long as you're willing to not quit in the first month when I'm giving you a whole bunch of shit over nothing. But mean, think about this. Selena's only been coming since March. She did the March challenge, so she's under 5 months. We got a lot of new people here, and we're all hanging out and having a blast on a holiday weekend when everybody could be doing, other shit and playing Spikeball for hours on end. Let's talk real quick about the First Form Challenge. I know I gave you shit offline about this, so I got to do it publicly, but you guys had really good results for about 2 weeks when you were actually tracking your stuff, and then Collin fucked your world up and started eating pizza and Chipotle all the time, didn't he?
Ice cream is our weakness.
Ice cream? I still haven't had ice cream. That's what I should have today.
Oh, yeah, ice cream.
I started dieting again today. No. Well, lifestyle change started again today. Change it.
Lifestyle change. But what was it like joining? What did you like about the First Form Challenge? Because you guys have done, this was the second or third challenge.
The third one.
And I feel like this one was different than the other two. I feel like everybody, not that the other ones didn't go good, this one we just got really, really good results on. And I don't know, maybe you guys, as people that participated, what was different about this one that made it so much better? Because, I mean, you had Craig Meintzer losing 25 pounds, Evan Lejeune 20 pounds, Morgan 12 pounds, Alicia Glick 9 pounds. Like, the number of people that were, like, close to double-digit or 5+ pound weight loss was insane this time around. And even those that didn't necessarily lose too much weight, even looking at your pictures, you definitely, picture-wise, you still did better than...
Yeah, there's a lot more PRs.
Yes. We took a picture. I'm going to share it tomorrow. I just erased them the other day, or Debbie did. But yeah, we filled up the PR board. So what was the difference? Was it the ease of using that app? Was it getting more competitive, so I was programming a little more towards competition style? What was it that clicked that made this competition or this challenge better than the other ones?
I personally like the competition training more. But I also like on the First Form app, like actually seeing, all right, I'm overeating now.
Yep.
I'm undereating. I know I quit tracking because I follow off everything she does, but I started seeing results in the weekly pictures.
Yep.
Compared to, all right, I'm just going to jump on a scale this day.
Yep.
The accountability of it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I found, and you guys can answer this from a consumer point, having the ability to send an announcement every single day on the app, having the Facebook group that I linked to the app, so I was reminded constantly after I did the announcement, hey, would you like to share a version of it? Because they don't say share this to your Facebook group, but it's like, don't forget, you should probably update that too. And I'm like even as a coach, I was like, fuck, I really should update that. So I feel like I stayed with it a lot more that I normally did, but I feel like it was a combination. Plus, I mean, how many times did you ever see all the product over there before I was with First Form? I mean,
shit tastes good.
Oh,
Yeah.
fucking amazing. What's your favorite? Let's go pop quiz. Favorite flavor?
Ice cream sandwich.
The level 1 ice cream sandwich is your favorite. Mint ice cream sandwich is pretty good, but I don't know if that's my favorite.
Ice cream sandwich.
Fruit Loops. That Fruit Loops is great.
It's technically called Loop-de-Fruit because of
Loop-de-Fruit,
fucking
yeah.
trademark issues, but yeah.
Loop-de-Fruit, yeah.
I don't know. I bounce around a lot. The Cinnamon Toast Crunch hit me hard when we first got it. And then we got the root beer float. Have you tried that one yet?
No.
Oh my
We need
god.
to try that.
That one's good. And then the key lime pie is good. And I'm like, fuck, I haven't found one that I dislike yet.
Yeah, we've tried a few. We got to place an order soon. I'm like putting all these flavors in my cart.
Yeah. I'm going to start sharing. They have a recipe for how to make your own homemade protein waffles.
Ooh.
And
Well,
I'm-
then the pumpkin.
Yeah, if they have pumpkin, if they bring that back. If
Because pumpkin spice flavor, that you can make some cupcakes, some
Yeah.
lots of stuff.
I had a recipe for chocolate banana ice cream. You mix the chocolate banana level 1 with ice cubes and then almond milk. And then you put it in the freezer and it got like a more ice creamy consistency, and that looked fucking amazing.
I'm sure if you
Yeah, I was
whipped it.
making
I'm
those
sure if
protein balls, chocolate protein balls.
Yeah.
I think your guys' main issue was undereating.
Mm-hmm.
When you guys, So what happens, and this is what everybody does, so obviously I'm talking to you guys on the podcast, so this is really what happens more than anything is you do really good tracking and you're like, ooh, I have to eat a lot of food. And then you go, oh, but I'm going to eat pizza. And you realize only 3 pieces are about what you ate in an entire day. And you're like, well, I'm just not going to eat the rest of the day. And then when you don't cheat, you go right back to the bad habit of undereating because you're like, well, it's like 3 pieces of pizza worth of food. But the healthy food is not that. It's way more dense nutrient-wise, so you have to eat way more food. So you're just caught in this endless cycle of, I didn't get enough food.
Yeah, we did that a lot. I noticed the days I would get a check mark, I was eating all day long, and I would look and see what I was low on. I'd be like, oh my god, I gotta eat this. Oh, I gotta eat more. Or at the end of the day, I would be adding food to our plates. Like, what else can I cook in the house to get a check mark?
Yeah.
But that didn't happen often.
Debbie made fun of some of my, like, one day she walks in, and she had a look of, like, absolute disgust on her face. Because I had the weirdest, I had, like, 20 grams of protein left, like 50 of carb, and like 60 of fat. So I had like a little sliver of chicken, a whole fuck ton of rice, and I chopped up like cashews in there, and then I put barbecue sauce on it, and I was literally stirring it and eating it, and she goes, that's fucking disgusting. And I'm like, macros, bitch. And she's like, doesn't that taste like shit? I'm like, fuck yeah, it does. But it just, the idea of doing it that way versus literally 6 handfuls of cashews sounded better to me.
Yeah.
Hindsight 2020, I should have just ate the 6 handfuls of cashews because that shit was not fucking good.
You see you started tracking today?
I did not. Who started trying to you?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Debbie's. Huh?
I was eating like shit, so I didn't track that.
That's what everybody does. They're like, that's a dead giveaway when they track through like lunch and you look at it. You're like, yeah, they stopped. They stopped tracking. They ate like shit at lunch. I hit my macros on accident yesterday.
Did you really?
Yeah. I've had 70 fucking days of
Habit.
75 days of habit. So I just happened to. I didn't hit all of them, but I hit protein, calories, which are the 2 most important.
The calories were rough. That was hard to hit because I would go over on a fat or carb, and
Yeah.
it was just.
You're telling me I eat whatever you eat, so.
You were really low on everything, yeah.
Well, yeah, you got it. Guess who started tracking today besides him?
Today?
Today.
Ooh.
Debbie.
No shit.
Yeah.
I started tracking today too.
Yeah. What did I tell you? Me and her are never on the same schedule. So I finished 75 hard, and I'm like, fuck it, I need a week off. And she's like, I think I'm gonna start tracking. I'm like, no, god damn it,
It's her time to shine.
I don't want to start tracking again. And she's like, I am. And I'm like, fuck, I want key lime pie. She's like, won't fit in my macros. And I'm thinking, for 75 days, well, she made the first 14 with me. But for the back half of that thing, I'd be like, why are you eating pizza in front of me, bitch? Like, all I want is pizza. And she's like, I ain't on 75 hard, you are. If I did that shit to her, she'd slap me across. She'd be like, bitch. I'm like, oh,
You know how
okay.
many times I want to send you a picture of me eating cereal?
I gotta send you, remind me after this, Kate Steller, one of the First Form sponsored trainers. She mixes, so she gets plain, like, organic Cheerios. It's not that actual brand, but basically like grain oats. And she mixes almond milk and loop-de-fruit, uses that as the milk for the organic grain cereal,
That's a good
and it
idea.
tastes like Fruit Loops.
I loved that one. It would tasted like I was like cheating. It
I
was good.
like, I would tell my First Form coach every time, I look forward to my workouts because when I was craving pop, root beer float. When I was craving key lime pie. When I really wanted cereal, which is the weirdest thing, that was my biggest craving most of the time. So I had Magical Charms, I had Cinnamon Toast Crunch, like I craved Girl Scout cookies, I got chocolate mint cookie, like everything that they had. And then I found the bars, and I'm like, oh, Butterfinger would be real good right now. Salted caramel bar taste. So, like, I literally would text Murphy, my First Form coach, or Daryl, my actual First Form advisor inside the app, and I'd be like, dude, I am dying right now. I want this. And they'd be like, mix this, this, and this. And I would do it, and I'm like, fuck, that tastes just like it. Like, I mean, it's not just like it, but it was close enough that I was like, I don't crave it anymore.
Yeah, and they do. First Form they do a good job of. It's like they put down everybody. What did you crave when you couldn't eat it? And it's like they came out with like the perfect
I
mix.
think the number one thing with First Form, why I I'll put it this way. So I was with another company. I'm not going to name them. And it's funny, once I made the switch, now all their Facebook ads pop up all the time. But here's a perfect example of First Form versus this company. I get said ad, and they're like, try our post-wad. Our most popular flavors that people buy every single time are this, this, and this, with chocolate peanut butter being our #1 top seller. You should buy this. It's the best thing for you to buy post-workout. And I'm like, how many fucking times can you say buy in a 10-second ad? Whereas when I'm talking to the First Form folks, it's always like, I don't really care what you do, but here's what I would suggest. And if that helps you, great. Otherwise, just track whatever you do. And it's just, you don't feel pressured by them. Like, I never hear the word buy. I never hear, you should sell somebody this. They're like, hey, how did you help somebody today? That's the #1 thing they ask every time I talk to my coach, Murphy Wells. He goes, how can I help you today? How can I help you help somebody today? And he's like, how are your Transformers doing, you guys in the app? And I'll start reading through. He goes, that's fucking awesome. And then I'll be like, this person's going, they're falling off. He's like, how can we help them get back on track? And I'm sitting here thinking, shouldn't you be giving me some kind of fucking sales pitch?
Mm-hmm.
But no, he goes, that is the sales pitch. If you actually care enough to reach out to this person and get them back and show them you care, they're gonna appreciate that way more than you just texting going, hey, you fell off the wagon. And it has changed my coaching approach, and it just makes you really want to rock their stuff. I pretty much wear JG3 or First Form shit anymore. Like, that's, and I know you're pretty much the same. Or his Matt Frazier shit. Although, can we talk about his
Gotta rub
grips?
his man.
Can we talk about his grips? Matt Frazier, if you're...
The ones that broke.
No, we're not talking about the ones that broke. We're talking about the ones with some R on them for some reason.
She got them for a gift right now.
Oh yeah, right.
Matt Frazier, if you're watching this again, don't return his call. Don't, when he pops into your DMs, don't respond to it. He's a closet Rich Froning fan. Yeah.
Okay, he watches both. Frazier's his #1, but Rich is the second.
I thought you liked Buttery Bros second.
Oh, and Buttery Bros, yeah.
I've been watching a lot of Dan Bailey too.
He's a First Form guy.
Yep.
Look up Derek Whita. I forget what he calls it. Eating Healthy with Derek Whita, I think it is. You'll fucking love that
If he's
video.
shirtless and sweating, he'll love it.
Oh, he's wearing like a fucking. He's wearing like a Speedo and an American flag apron as he's cooking, but he's drinking, and he's giving nutrition advice.
Does he have a beard?
He has a huge
Oh,
beard.
then that's
you know
your
who
kind of
Derek White
guy.
is, don't you?
I'm pretty sure I've
Yeah,
seen it.
yeah. Derek White is fucking awesome. Before I even knew he was First Form, someone sent me his shit in 2016, and they said if you were famous, this would be how your videos went. Because he literally is like, I know what you're thinking. This guy's giving me a health advice while drinking a beer. And he's like, well, it's a beautiful day, and it's a great day to be a goddamn American. Fuck you. And then he burps. And I'm like, that's awesome. But that video, I'll send it to you. It's still one of my top 5 favorite videos for health and nutrition, because you just send it to people. Because people do overcomplicate the fuck out of health and nutrition. They overcomplicate fitness. What got you guys in shape for the CrossFit competition at Tiffin? We did a lot of rowing. We did a lot of biking. We did a lot of skier.
A lot of running.
We did a lot of running. We did a lot of thrusters. We did a lot of burpees. Wall balls, even though they weren't in there. Rope climb. Like, there's a pattern here. There's a playbook. It's not that hard. You might not get the same combination of the competition, but you better be used to it. Was there anything at the competition that caught you guys off guard?
No. I mean, you literally were like, you'll probably do these things, and that was literally what we did. I mean, the only thing was different was like
The hanging rope.
but you were even getting us ready to learn, like, just climbing the rope in general, so we were prepared.
And I think I was the one that taught you guys how to keep your arms locked out to make it easier, because I saw a lot of people doing this, and they kept sliding down the rope, and then they would get no rep because they couldn't get their knees up. And then nutrition, it's really not that complicated. You got calories, which determines what the weight on the scale looks like. Protein determines what your body looks like that, and then carbs and fat are your fuel. Don't really give a fuck which one you prefer more. If you want to be way over in carbs, as long as you're under or right at your calories and protein, have at it. There is a minimum for both we want you to hit most of the time, as long as you're not eating just fish or just like lean chicken, you should hit your fats either way. But either way, it's not super complicated shit. Problem is it's boring.
It's the habit too. Like
It's the- yeah.
Force Form made it like foolproof, but we just fell off the wagon. That was our problem, and that's our own fault. But I mean,
But you guys are busy. Why don't you guys talk about your schedules? I mean, you work what, 410s, 412s?
yeah, I work 410s, and then I bartend.
And then you bartend Friday night. Mm-hmm. And then you're also going weekends at the Yogi. I haven't heard you talk about that in a while. Are you still doing that?
I took a little break just with bartending being busier in the week, like in the weekends and stuff. So yeah, I was doing yoga once a month for 4 days, bartending, full-time job.
Are you on call for that too?
No, I was going to, but I didn't take it. I
Okay.
just didn't have time.
Yeah, that's good. So you're a pretty busy person. You work
6 days.
6 days a week.
Outside every day.
6 to 4,
7 to 3.
7 to 3. I just heard your little Fitbit go off. He's one of the few, when I'm going over in the app how to label yourself. Most of us are sedentary because it does not consider your exercise activity in there. So sedentary would be under 10,000 steps a day. Light would be 10,000 to like 18,000. Moderate would be like 18,000 to like 26,000, and then 26,000 and above is very active. Every one of the people that I had selected very active. I'm like, you might want to change that. Like, I consider myself, I think I moved mine to light for 75 hard because of how much walking and running and biking I was doing. But you might be the only one that I think consistently gets, 16,000 steps? 16,000 steps on a daily average. And you still come in and work out. That's a pretty active lifestyle right there.
And he
Go
doesn't
home,
sit
right?
down. He goes home and does something else around our house.
You get bored.
How the fuck do you get bored?
I gotta stay moving.
I'm the same way. I get it.
Oh, see, he annoys me sometimes. I'm like, we gotta rest. You need a rest day, damn it.
Yesterday I finally hit a point. I'm like, babe, I'm not doing shit. So I did burn some stuff outside, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go play video games. And then I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna work on the podcast. So I literally was editing and uploading podcasts yesterday because this is finally gonna launch this Friday.
It's exciting.
So getting this back out there's, but I've talked about this a couple times on the podcast. I love being busy. Like 75 hard was perfect for me because I'm a busybody. Things don't go well for me when I got time to think about shit. I am a very self-destructive person. So if I get home and I have the time, like that's why it was perfect to take a rest day today when we had this schedule, because I'm like, great, I'll be busy and I won't have time to think about all the dumb shit that I want to do. But it's very hard for me to just sit around all day.
Oh, yeah.
Like, unless I'm around and doing like we did Sunday, and even saying that, it turned into 5 hours of fucking Spikeball. But yeah, you guys are busy ass fucking people, so to find time and you get up at,
Oh, what?
I get you up at 4:45.
Yep.
the fuck do you get up at 4:45 if you go to work at 7 for?
Only 30 minutes early to work. An hour early.
Because there's traffic in the summer is disgusting in Marblehead.
I ain't being late. How early am I here every day?
Pretty fucking early.
I ain't being late to nothing.
I wish I had that skill. I'm late to fucking everything. What's weird is I'll get up super early. I'm going to tell one quick story, then we'll wrap this bitch out. But I was in Sacramento, California. Me and another guy from the East Coast flew out to Sacramento, California several years ago. We land, it's 3 o'clock our time, it's like noon their time. We work until like 4. Long story short, we're fucking exhausted. We finish dinner with these guys, and I'm like, dude, I'm fucking beat. We fall asleep at like 7. He texts me at 2:30 in the morning. He's like, dude, I'm fucking starving. And I'm like, me too. We got up at 2:30 in the morning. Was at Denny's at 3 o'clock in the morning. We had an 8 a.m. meeting. We were almost 45 minutes late to. Being up the problem is I'm usually early, so I'm like, ooh, I can do this real quick. And then that takes me way longer than I intend on, or I get talking to someone else, and next thing you know, I'm like, fuck, I gotta be there in 10 minutes, and I'm 20 minutes away. And it's just, that's my personality, is I'm either really fucking early, or I'm 10, 15 minutes late.
We leave this house same time every day.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
Out
Yeah.
of the shower same time every day.
Yeah. It's like clockwork.
So one positive thing, I always like to end these with one positive thing that you think has made the biggest impact on your health, fitness, mental health, whatever it may be. It could be a book you've read, something you put into your habit. I told everybody I was going to do this a couple podcasts ago. I started the Compound Journal. Shout out to Compound Journal. They happened to comment on one of my fucking Instagram posts, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Ended up buying the shit because it's a pretty cool thing. So it helps you set up your budget. It gives you, it's like a combination of a power list and a gratitude type thing. So every morning you wake up and I have, what are 2 things you're grateful for today? And it's got a little quote at the top. Then it goes, if I do these 5 things today, I will have won the day. And then you got a yes, I did it. No, I did not do it. And then right under that, or right above that rather, you have the budget you calculated and then how much you spent that day, and then it carries over to the next day.
I need that.
And then right before you go to bed, it's like 2 amazing things that happened to me today, and what are 2 things I can work on. That, even though I just started it today, I can already tell it's going to be a game changer. Because just waking up and instantly opening this thing and going, I'm fucking it sounds cliche. Today I was like, I'm real grateful that my wife supports my crazy ass habits. I mean, I work a full-time job. I own a fucking business. Work on the side for First Form now. I fucking have a podcast. I just finished 75 Hard. We got a lot going on, and Debbie deals with my shit. And I'm kind of a fucking dick. So I talk a lot of shit. It can't be easy being married to me. So I'm very grateful for my wife, and I know that's cliche. But, and then the fact that my kids are just decent human beings. Like,
You have good kids.
Trenton asking Selena's boy if he want to come jump on the train, like shit like that just makes my heart happy. So I was like, okay, boom. Right off the bat, no matter what side of the bed, I woke up, I already told you guys this morning, I couldn't straighten my arm. I'm like, all right, 75 Hard did it to me. Doing Murph the day after was a horrible idea. Going to jiu-jitsu the next day was even stupider. Could barely straighten my arm. I'm like, today's going to suck. Literally get my pumpkin cream cold brew coffee. Oh, yes, it's basic. Basic bitch. But I'm sipping that thing and I'm thinking about what I'm gracious for. Instantly mood changer. And then I set out my power list, the 5 things I want to get done. And what do you think the first 5 things I did today was? I was checking that shit off the list. So today, it was real basic shit. I had a coaching call with my First Form guy. I wanted to order those ice shakers. I got that done. And I had 3 things for work I had to get done. And I had 2 things for work I had to get done. And then I had to upload the podcasts to get them ready for their premieres. And I got all of that done by fucking noon. And I was like, hey, I like this motherfucking thing. And then I started, kind of wrapping my brain around what's next. So that's something positive that I feel is going to help me, especially with 75 Hard being over and not having something to quote unquote look forward to every day. Yeah. I feel like this is a good time for that to come into my life. So what do you guys have? I'll start with you, Meg, because always ladies first.
Just everything in general. The past year, less than a year, just doing CrossFit, joining this gym, all the support from everybody here. It's helped our marriage tremendously. It's helped my mental health tremendously, and just my all-around attitude. I think everything as a whole. I just like who I'm becoming as a person, whereas for a while I did not like where we were going and the road we were on. Now I can say, like, I look forward to coming to the gym. I used to hate coming to the gym. I love it, and just in general, just my overall life now. Like, just everything that you guys and our Fit Fam has brought me, like.
Did you think that was the catalyst, or you think something else clicked that made you happy with everything? Like, was there a moment where you were like, man, I joked about it earlier on this podcast. Every day before I go to bed, to me, that's when my anxiety creeps in. I look at myself in the mirror, I'm brushing my teeth, and I'm like, I either fucking hate that guy, or he made me happy today. Most of the time, I'm like, I don't have anything to bitch about, but tomorrow we'll have the same fucking conversation. But then you get in the darkness right before bed, and that's really when the anxiety is like, oh, you forgot to do this, dickhead, you're a fucking loser, you didn't do that. Like, when I get all of the stuff done, when I get my power list done, when I have stuff like this, like, I'll go home today and I'm grateful that we just had an hour-long conversation like this, because it helped me get out my demons and then hear your guys' story. What made you flip that switch?
I'm still in the process. I can definitely say it's still a process, just because I've dealt with my own demons and just like anxiety, depression, whatever. You feel really alone, so having a community that even on a day where I'm in a bad mood, everybody's gonna be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And the next day when I'm in a great mood, people are still there. Like, I'm still working on all of that, but it's nice to know I have people behind me while I'm doing it.
Awesome. What about you, Collin?
I kind of got lost on the question.
What one thing is positive, or you think impacted you the most positively for either your health, fitness,
Oh, it's gym for sure.
or life? That
Because
was,
like she said before, like we're going down a bad path and we found something we could do together. That just brought us closer than meeting great people.
yeah. It's what's interesting is you can have people like you guys that work out together, and then you can have a couple like Selena and Travis, where Travis doesn't come to the gym, but he feels like part of the team because you see him so much at these cookouts and things that I mess with him just like he's a member of the gym. Or even for the longest time, Steven didn't come to the gym, but me and Steven have always been cool. So it's like it's awesome to me that you guys share the actual fitness together, because I know the hardest workouts for me to finish for 75 hard, I made sure Debbie was next to me, because I'm like, she's the only one who knows how hard I am on myself and will absolutely not let me quit. And I'll share a story with you guys that I've not shared yet. We did that 75 hard finale workout, right? Why the fuck I thought to do that first thing in the morning? I had another workout to do. And I had the whole day to eat healthy and all this other shit. So me and Debbie get like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I'm like, I still got to do a 45-minute workout. So I'm like, I'll just put my ruck on and we'll go for a 45-minute hike with the dogs. Literally, this is not exaggeration. 10 minutes in, I was almost in tears, and I looked at Debbie and I'm like, I don't think I can do this. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you've gone through all this and you're gonna quit now? And I'm like, babe, you don't understand. I am fucking destroyed right now. Like, I don't know that I can walk with this 30-pound backpack on right now. And all she had to do, it was one line, and it flipped me. She goes, do you want me to take it? And I'm like, bitch, get the fuck away from me. And I didn't say a fucking word the next 35 minutes until we got back. But she knew the right thing to say to me, because, and I'm sure you guys have got to that point where she understands who I am, and what I needed in that moment was not, I didn't need sympathy. I didn't need, oh, poor pitiful me. I needed someone to tell me to stop being a bitch and remind me that who I was. So I'm very thankful that you guys have that, and it's awesome for me to hear that this gym did so much for you guys, because you guys brought me out of a very dark spot too. So thank you guys very much. Thanks for being on the pod. He talked way more than we thought he would.
know.
He didn't plan on it, but we got a little bit out of him. We'll see if he actually sounds loud enough on the fucking thing. He did get pretty close a couple times.
I know he kept leaning.
Unplugged it.
He unplugged it.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity. This is cool, so thank you.
No problem. We'll have to do it again after we kick your guys' fucking ass at the first ever Spikeball Championships.
You can try.
Here's the plan, and this is the last thing I'm going to say because I get long-winded. If my team wins, there will be championship belts made. If anybody else wins, we didn't actually host the event. It was just us
We're
having
gonna
fun.
make T-shirts.
And it's just
We're
us
gonna
having
make
fun.
T-shirts if we win.
That's fine. I'm a size large, and I think Carrie's a size small. So, we'll take the T-shirt any fucking time you want to make it. But in all seriousness, no matter what happens, we're gonna have a fucking blast doing it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Anyway, this has been the Road to Optimal Self with Jay, Collin, and Meg. Boom.